Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts again. Now, there's a little bit of confusion about Star Trek 4, the new Star Trek 4. Now, originally it was announced before Beyond, and it was supposed to be Baby Kirk and Daddy Kirk reuniting the two Chris's, but they wouldn't pay them enough. They left. The director left. They lost all the funding. It was dead. The contract lapsed, and now Paramount can do whatever they want. They don't have to use Bad Robot. And then we had this guy. Oh God, I've forgotten his name again. I'm so bad. Noah Hawley. Noah Hawley basically comes out in the media and says, "I'm writing a Star Trek film, and the idea is there is going to be a Star Trek 4 happening." And then what we hear is that no, Paramount actually isn't doing anything with Star Trek. This is Bad Robot trying to talk up a film, make it sound like they're actually working on a film so they can get funding and actually have something to take to Paramount to try and interest them into entering back into a contract with them. So this guy has just sort of been hired to talk about creating a film which they're hoping to get funded and then produced by Paramount. And then I see, we don't really hear much about him and what he actually wants to do, just more about that it's happening. So I did two videos, one saying, "Yay, Star Trek 4 is happening," and then another one's like, "No, glad it's not happening because a lot of things sound wrong with Star Trek at the moment, and it sounds like this is just Bad Robot trying to do another Bad Robot one, not Paramount going in their own direction and doing a new film," which is what I sort of thought. And now we've got another interview, which is very interesting and very encouraging because the guy, Noah, or whatever his name is actually, and I'm bad with names, is actually saying, "I'm not going to do a JJ action film. I'm actually going to go back to Star Trek's roots, traditional Star Trek, where it's actually," and my God, he actually spoke about Star Trek like he knew what it was. He was like, it was basically humanity, all about humanity, exploration, about people outsmarting their enemies and not really having enemies, more circumstances and issues, and just he seemed to get it. And he was saying that's the sort of film I want to do, where humanity, it's about humanity, it's about the future, it's about people who think their way out of these problems and not just the villain of the week thing. And I'm like, wow, this guy sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And he said, "I have been talking to people at Paramount about this. I haven't written a script yet, but I've basically got some ideas together and approach and talking to them about this." So that implies he's actually been talking to Paramount, or Paramount has talked to him, consulted him, hired him, or something. Unless Bad Robot has an office in Paramount, or he's just lumping them together because they were working for Paramount. But I don't know. Does this mean Paramount is actually speaking to this guy? He's actually preparing something and he actually has a clue and it could actually happen? And the other thing that Simon Pegg, when he was talking out his ass, and he said himself, "I'm just talking out my ass," he said, "I don't think we're going to be in this film. I don't think us actors are actually going to be in this film because none of us have been consulted yet." And I'm like, well, because no one's hiring anyone yet, because no one's funding anything, because Paramount hasn't approved anything. It's just Bad Robot putting together an idea and blah, 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 and trying to, make a film happen and get funding. But the writer, the new writer, Noah, whatever his name is, I can't remember. God, I'm so bad. He was actually saying that he's not sure he's going to use the cast. He has his own idea, and he's just going to see how that goes. And he doesn't seem to be attached to anything, including using the original cast or the existing cast from the JJ films. So that sort of supports what Simon Pegg is saying. So that is very interesting. I wanted to read the whole article, but of course I couldn't get my computer to play with me. And I just was like, fine, I will just go from memory, because he didn't go into any real specifics because he hasn't written the script yet. He's just got some ideas. But the point is, from the way he's talking, he sounds like he actually has a clue and he wants to go in a different direction, and he actually understands that Star Trek films can be like Star Trek the Motion Picture and The Voyage Home, where it's not because the Wrath of Khan kind of ruined the Star Trek films. A lot of people love it, and I loved it when I was younger. But now that I'm older and I actually understand more what Star Trek was, and it's more important to me now in the face of World War III and Trump and all this sort of stuff, and Brexit and everything. Um, it's not just about villain of the week. It's not just about us and them. Just that whole. That's not what Star Trek was about. Even when we had villains, God, I'm not even going to go into all that. Basically, it sounds like this guy's got a clue. I'm feeling a little bit hopeful, but I'm also aware that nothing has really been greenlit and set in stone yet. That this is just a bit of talk, an idea, and that's good. That's a start. But in the meantime, we have Picard, Discovery Picard, or Jake Picard, or whatever you want to call him, because he's not sounding like Jean-Luc. We'll just have to deal with that for now, but there may be hope. There may be a Paramount produced film, Star Trek film, which actually tries to boldly go, that actually tries to feature new civilizations and new ideas and something to make us think and be inspired and maybe even create a space we actually want to be in, not something we just want to survive, which is all the JJ films were. People surviving action. And as much as I kind of got into them as a change of pace with action at the time, the more I look at them, the less they feel like Star Trek, and the less I'm returning to them. I haven't watched them in 2 or 3 years. I think I watched Beyond once when it came out on Blu-ray, and that's the last time I watched any of the films, and that would have been later that year. So that's a long time. Okay, I'm gonna stop now, talking too much. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Comments are fun when they're not neo-Nazis attacking me and people giving me death threats. The rest of the comments are fun. Uh, okay.